friendery news. Let us begin, well, affirming Maruki's reality, at least as far as the game says. Now, I wonder, so we have 25 days. Do we have the same, like, can we just go do our confidants like before? Will they be different now? I really wonder about that, like, what is gonna be, what's going on for these 25 days? I guess we're gonna see. Can we just do everything we used to be able to do? Is this, like, extra time for, like, the normal stuff in the game? I didn't think they would actually do that for this expansion. I thought this expansion would have none of this free days stuff, but we have 25 here. Now, I am also aware that as far, I mean, well, there seems to be some kind of metaverse content for this, because I've seen Akechi as a metaverse navigator before, and that confuses me. So I'm like, large Dergy, doll. So, let's go see what all there is to do, and I really do wonder, can we just walk around the city like normal? And do we actually have extra time to do stuff? Could maybe you have held off some Memento stuff until this part of the game? Well, actually no, there's no fucking way, because you had to get to the bottom of Mementos in order to get to the end of the vanilla game, so there's no fucking way. So there must be new Mementos combat, I think. But we'll see. Hello, Morgana. How did this happen? Either way, let's rest for the night and collect our thoughts. Okay, yeah, he's not gonna even let us leave our room tonight, but
hey!
I have this feelio. Well, we'll see. I wonder if it's literally just gonna start passing a bunch of days. Wait, hold on. So I can't do anything here, can I? But I'm wondering if you're gonna be able to do anything. Make everyone happy, huh? But even so. Anyway, let's think about it tomorrow. Sleepy Durgan! I'm a sleepy Durgan. I get in my bed, and then I sleep and go to the Velvet Room in my brain. Because that's what I do. I am Joker. Right. Hey, so this is where we're gonna...
quite some time.
Indeed it has, the Venza. So we must now finally be able to do Velvet Room things. And I'm guessing the game's opening up in other ways as well, or the expansion. I guess you could call this part an expansion, for sure, to the original game, because nothing in, like, this chunk of, I do believe just January, but don't quote me. No, it's like January and February, right? Like, the beginning of February, maybe? Because we have 25 days to, quote-unquote, affirm Maruki's reality, so we'll see. But I know for a fact that there's a Valentine's Day event. So,
we have
to be back in the normal
you.
game by then, so we'll see. And I am also wondering just how much new content that I recognize, because I feel like some things I just don't remember enough to, like, from my last playthrough of Vanilla P5 to remember how much is new and how much isn't, but some things leap out at me as, yeah, no, this was not here. A lot of it's voice lines and obvious stuff like grappling hooks that were... none of them were there. It's a brand-ass new mechanic. What's going on?
You have been imprisoned once more.
I see that.
This time, not by the god of control, but a different entity, one who's bound you through your future.
His name's Maruki. I don't know why.
You held fast to your free will
I sort of feel like I
and
know why,
believed
but
in
we'll
your
see.
bonds, allowing your friends to regain their own realities.
Indeed.
You are on the verge of grasping a potential reality once more. Our meeting again now within this place is proof enough. It seems the time has come.
What do I do now?
We are merely beings who provide aid to humans as they carry out their will. You must be the one to determine the path and actions to take. If the will of rebellion still thrives within you, then we will surely meet again.
What she said there... I think this is the most definitive, like, definition of what the Velvet Room people are that I've ever seen in anything. And I'm not sure if this is truly brought up in other Persona games, although granted, I've only got 5 on the brain right now. But I played 3 Portable and 4 Golden, and I don't quite remember stuff like this. Like, this is probably the most, like, okay, that's what the Velvet Room people are that we've ever seen in any Persona game. We are merely beings who provide aid to humans as they carry out their will. That's what the purpose of the Velvet Room and the people in there are. It's interesting. I do wonder what Jose is, and I have a feeling he is going to come into play here as to what he is, other than the boy that just kind of road trips through mementos picking up flowers. That's all we really know about him right now. He's just this boy who seems like a Velvet Room person as far as how he looks, and, you know, he's just a happy-go-lucky boy who just picks up flowers and shit.
You ought to tell everyone else that, too.
Oh, that's right.
Let's all meet up after school.
Oh, that's right. They all by now know about all that stuff because of the fact that... I like how this is coming up, too. That they all know who Lady Lavenza and Igor are. And the fact, you know, the jail thing. They've all been there at this point. In fact, I just edited the episode where we broke our friends out of jail. Sumire Hago, hello. Yeah, I like her scarf. She's clearly changed her attire, and she's let her hair down. I guess just because she can't, you know, hide from the fact that she is Sumire and not her dead sister anymore. Oof, man. Yeah, I don't blame her, really, for having the kind of reaction she did, but I kind of do blame Maruki for honestly kind of irresponsibly taking charge of trying to shield her from her pain. Because that's what this is, right? He's trying to shield people from their pain, and he doesn't really understand that what he's doing really does seem to have consequences, and also is a pretty not foolproof at all plan. Especially because we have already been able to thwart him a little bit. Or else she wouldn't be here right now as Sumire going to school.
Good morning.
Morning, Sumire. Big hugs.
I'm sorry. I can't believe what I tried to do to you two.
It's alright. Clearly we're not in your right mind at all, and I don't blame you for that.
I genuinely cannot apologize enough for what happened.
Sumire hug, and I think it was less you and more your persona anyway, so...
Oh, come on. There's no need for that.
What he said. Okay, Sumire, that rhymes.
More importantly, how have you been?
I don't think she's been very good, unfortunately, considering everything.
Physically, I'm fine.
Yeah, I see that, but yeah, mentally, I don't think she is, unfortunately.
But mentally, to be entirely honest, I'm all mixed up.
I mean, if you think about it, she's having an identity crisis for the fucking ages. So, yeah, of course she'd be mixed up mentally. And we just... Okay, so our only options are to ask if she's okay again, and then dots, but I kind of reiterate, like, I'm sorry, or... I don't know. I think there's better ways to say this, but we only have these 2 options, so... I'd rather not just be silent, so are you alright?
My memories are still pretty fuzzy, and I haven't really processed everything yet. I'm going to need a little time to myself to think things through. I have to figure out what to do with myself from here on.
Is this really the same voice actress as Kasumi? I'm pretty... She must be, right? I think they... I mean, I would think you'd have the same woman putting on slightly different voices in order to, you know, do the whole twins thing, but is it maybe a different voice actress? Maybe. It could very well be. And again, I don't know if the game has really made it 100% clear exactly what happened. Like, was she really actually 100% sure thinking she was Kasumi at the beginning of the year? Was she like Dr. Maruki's trial of this cognitive stuff? It must be, right? Because he keeps going on about his research. His research must have been her then, right? I imagine? Like, that seems to be the case, though. I don't think that's been 100% made like set in stone yet. Either that, or I'm just missing the confirmation, because it might be subtle-ish at least, and I sometimes, you know, end up glossing over that kind of stuff unintentionally often. It's just kind of one of the biggest flaws I think I have with the appreciation of video games and things like this is just plot stuff. And developments go over my head for a while, and it just tends to happen that way. My shoulder? It's fine. Why do you ask, Coach? May I take the extra classes as well? I want to study more. The class is so awesome. There's no bullying or anything like that here. My bad. I have club today after school. You guys can go home without me. Club? I thought he was in the go home club. But, I wonder if... Oh, wait, hold on. That's right.
Time's up.
The person wanted to be in a sports club, or what have you, and so that is his reality now. Gotcha. Happy New Year, everyone. You all did your homework, right? Hello, Miss Kawakami. I wonder if we can actually, like, have the time to maybe do her link now. Though I want to finish the chemis first, if at all possible. Though there might be just completely new things to do here. Or maybe just more time skippage. Or maybe just less social links. We'll see. Next year's going to be all about your college entrance exams. You better start preparing now. Yeah. Japanese media makes it very clear that college entrance exams are the hugest fucking deal in the universe in senior year. And, like, whilst you could say the same thing about college or about senior year in high school in America, I mean, I was able to kind of bow out of that shit, but maybe it's just really easily, too. But maybe it's just because I had an IEP, and B, I had made it very clear that I had no intention of going to college, and I wanted to do what I wanted to do. And the same, like, which is really just sit in front of this computer and be a nerd. Hell, I'm still doing it. At 26, I'm trying to figure out how to not just be a nerd in his parents' house still, as the stereotype goes, but there's a lot of reasons I ended up like this, and I'm at least finally working on trying to make a living, or at least make waves, and not just completely hide from people this way, because that's what I kind of used to do. Oh, and if you cause any trouble, that'll show up on the transcript, so make sure you behave yourselves, okay? God, yeah, it must be really strict and stringent in Japan. I freaking wonder a lot of young Japanese people commit fucking suicide. Like, it might just be me, but I'm so sensitive. I'm pretty sure it's not just me, and that there's people like me, too, but I'm so sensitive to outside pressure of any kind that the very idea of not being Japanese is kind of relieving to me whenever I watch stuff like this. I'm like, thank fuck I didn't have to be pressured like that in school. I don't know if I'd be able to fucking survive. I'd probably be what the Japanese call a hikikomori if I had to be a Japanese person. Because I'm already leaning in the recluse direction, but I ain't quite there. I'm not traumatized enough to be an extreme recluse like that, but if I was Japanese, with the societal pressures over there, I do think that is a very huge possibility for me, unfortunately. Let's see, who's on class duty today?
Man.
Have you been studying? Well, not that you really had time for that. Is everyone rested up? More or less. My mind was racing so much that I passed out before I even realized it. Same here. I think I've sorted through my own thoughts, but I'd still like to hear everyone else's take. Let's meet at the hideout. Sure thing. We'll come to the hideout right after school then. Gotcha. We'll be waiting for you.
Hey!
We definitely need to update everyone about Lady Lavenza. I'm not sure if he's ever called any of the other female party members lady, other than, you know, Ann and Lavenza. I really do wonder why he calls her Lady Lavenza, and, you know, Ann is Lady Ann, of course. But I think she's never called Makoto or Haru or Futaba Lady, you know, Makoto or Haru or Futaba, but anyway. And cook up our plans for here on out, too.
we have to choose our own path, eh?
Indeed. Is everyone wearing different stuff again? Or am I just not remembering right now? Or is it like even colder? Or is this like the school uniform winter attire? It must be, right? Cause yeah, the Shujin people are wearing the Shujin clothes. That's clear. But also coats, because it's cold as ass, because it's January. And it's, you know, the same hemisphere as America, which sometimes I feel like it kind of blows my mind that Japan is on the same hemisphere as America, where January is cold. And the only places I really hear about having, like, flipped seasons are, like, Australia and New Zealand. But I'm sure there's other countries on that side of the world. I'm just not good at geography, because I haven't studied geography enough. And I'm glad that I flipped it around and said that, because that's the truth. I probably could be good at geography if I sat down and studied it. It's just remembering things, like where countries are, right? And other things like that. But, you know, this is what I'm talking about specifically, is remembering where countries are on the map, right? Like, all it would take me is actually studying that. When you just say, I'm not good at that, especially in this day and age when you have the motherfucking internet, what you're saying is, I'm not gonna do the work. Because I don't think I could be. And that's extremely limiting. And you don't really realize that's what you're doing until you live as many years as I have not doing much with your life and then realize, oh wow, you know, I thought I couldn't do YouTube and here I fucking am. It's all mental bullshit that your mind does to keep you safe from feeling fear and failure and vulnerability and all these other things that ultimately are the absolute path to better lives. Always. Unfortunately, all these things we'd rather nix from our lives are usually some of the most important things we have to experience to get to exactly where we want to be. It's really interesting. And or just generally have a better life. Just even in the same outward situation, you can have an absolute better life by facing some of your fears and facing some of your everything. And outward, the situation can appear exactly the same, but mentally, you're much better. And that is exactly where I'm at right now. And it's part of why I can keep every day working on this YouTube channel, among other things that I'm working on. And, you know, despite fear that it's been months and months that I've been really hustling on this stuff. And I haven't seen progress yet, and I'm afraid that I won't go anywhere, but I'm not quitting like all those feelings used to make me before. And I was just this extremely hair-trigger quitter. The moment I felt behind most other people that were doing that thing, which, frankly, I learned so slow that that's basically been my experience of most things. That I'm behind most people. But I'm also starting to understand that a lot of that was mental, bias against myself, and deciding that a lot of things that don't really actually mean that I'm behind everyone mean that. I'm starting to realize that I did that to myself for so long, and that I still do it to myself. But I'm catching myself more, and I'm relinquishing those things more, and I'm turning those thoughts around more, and because of that, I'm able to persevere on something instead of nothing. And my life is better for that. And today I've had a pretty bad day so far as wrestling with fear, because I absolutely despise the idea of having to get a normal job. It's just the most absolutely terrifying fuck you reality that I'd ever want to be in. I know it's ridiculous. I know that, at the very least I'm not poor as fuck. And literally, not going, there's food on my table and shit. But we all know that rich people commit suicide a lot. So, happiness is not wealth. As much as a lot of people seem to think it is, for some fucking reason. Anyway, I went on so many tangents there, and I feel like I need to go on some more, but I don't even remember where I was going with them right now, so let's just continue. It's just gonna be one of those days, because like I said, I've been kind of mentally today, but... Oh yeah, the point I was trying to get to was really just, hey, I'm wrestling with a lot of mental stuff right now, but I'm working. And the working is actually mentally helping me. And that's how you know what good work is and what kind of work you need to be doing. I'm doing the exact work I need to be doing. I'm not getting money for it yet, but I'm doing the work I need to be doing, and I'm going to keep persevering at it until I see money from it. Because I know that this same type of journey has been, gone through by everyone I really look up to. There's so many creators online that I look up to. And I want to be a creator in my own right. I was about to say I want to be one of them, but I'm starting to understand that individuality is so fucking important for this anyway, and that's also, like, being able to just be myself and not feel like I need to change anything about myself or just not express anything about myself or anything that I'd want to express. Deciding that at all is torture to me, and it seems that I particularly, or at least this has been, maybe it isn't me particularly as much as I think so, because I don't really know what's in other people's minds, but just my experience of life has been that there's just an extreme amount of opinions I have, and ideas I have, and things I tend to say and think about and talk about that other people seem to have vitriol against, or would rather not hear, or think is stupid, or would have this immediate rebuttal against, or, like pretty much anyone, even the people that I love the most and that are the most amiable with me in general. It seems like I have a lot of things that most other people aren't gonna agree with mentally, and also the kinds of things that I say and do, and the kinds of ideas that I have, and experiences of life that I have. It really has always felt like I am particularly alien, that if you lined me up against other people that also felt alien, I would probably feel more alien. And I can't help but feel that way, but it might just be me. This might literally not have any concrete evidence to back it up, but it is how I feel. Especially because a lot of people that I feel like I relate to, they'll also say things that I don't relate to. And they'll say enough of them that eventually I go, I must not relate to them, actually, then. They must not be even close to as much as like me as I thought they were. And usually that makes me sad, because I just feel like I'm too fucking alien. I feel like I'm just way too fucking different, to the point where I'm not meant to fit into anywhere. That I'm not meant to... that I literally don't have a place on Earth among 9 billion plus people. But then I remember that I'm isolating the shit out of myself still, so no wonder I have that experience of life. I haven't interacted with enough of those people to really even like close to get enough data to really concretely, logically decide that there's no place for me. So there probably is. It's hard. And also I think another part of that is not striving for a perfect place, because a lot of people think that they are entitled to this ideal that is probably literally not physically possible. And I think there's a lot of people that dangerously lean in that thinking direction, and that's why they're unhappy more than anything else. And so I try to veer away from that direction, and regardless of how much flack my mind gives me day to day, I've noticed that my sheer sensitivity also guards me against a lot of pitfalls others seem to go down. Thank God. Anyway.
Akechi had mentioned that we needed to determine what we'll do from here on out. It seems he was right.
We can't accept this reality, but that means we'll have to fight Dr. Maruki, right?
That's right. We have to confront Maruki and steal his desire. In a way, it's business as usual for us.
Dr. Maruki is an adult with a warped desire, but that desire's just a wish for us all to be happy, right?
I admit, it's nothing similar to the desires we've seen in the likes of Shido and Kamoshida.
And it's been clear just because of how his shadow interacts with us. Or is that really his shadow? Has he figured out a way to literally be the guy in the palace and not his shadow? I do wonder about that. Because he acts very similar-ish to the real-life Maruki. It's not as polarizingly, yes, this is the other side of me, But there's also like this subtle, it's really interesting, man. There's this subtle, almost menacingness to him. But it's not like the other palace rulers. It's really interesting. But then, you know, he decides to be more forceful, and then literally, like, things around him turn black and tentacly and blah looking. And I have a feeling that that's another actual indicator that he's not his shadow, that he's somehow been able to figure out how to be the person in his palace. Like the real Maruki, or something. But maybe that will be disproven by the game, we'll see.
The Phantom Thieves only change the hearts of evildoers. Dr. Maruki is quite different from our past targets.
Well, I think we already know what we gotta do. Haru's right. Dr. Maruki ain't a shitty adult at all. There are probably plenty of folks out there living all happy in this reality. Who knows? Maybe Dr. Maruki is actually doing the right thing. But we all still feel like this reality's wrong, right? We decide what's right for ourselves. That's what we all agreed on when we went after him in the palace.
This is why I love Ryuji. Because regardless of all the jokes about him being dumb and impulsive and blah blah blah, this shit right here is where he shines. He knows what the fuck he wants and feels, and is just really strong in his convictions, and really gung-ho about them, and I fucking love that about him. And I think he's a really good solidifier of the direction of the Phantom Thieves. It's like, hey guys, this ain't complicated. Because he just goes off his gut, and that's really his strength, and it's been such a helpful thing, you know? And it's the reason that he's the guy that throws himself in front of, you know, threats and has saved a lot of us that way. More than once. Because there's the time in Shido's palace, and then there's the time here in Maruki's where he blocked an attack. When everyone else was showing up too. Like, again, there's so many ways this manifests in Ryuji's character, and the more that I really am liking how the characters are represented in this game so far, generally. I think we're seeing the best of Ryuji, of all characters right here, right now, and I'm glad that we're getting a lot of good Ryuji moments here, because I feel like he's gotten the short end of the stick, and been reduced to a comedy character in a lot of moments of this game. Of the original, but I'm liking so far what his character has been, like what, the sort of moments he's had in the Royal exclusive part of Royal, let's call it that for now.
If changing Doc's heart fixes our reality, I'm gonna do it. So, somebody say something?
Sorry, I was just thinking about how right you are, Ryuji.
They're all hesitant, aren't they? Everyone but Ryuji, because Ryuji's Ryuji, and that's another thing. He doesn't fucking hesitate. He knows what he thinks is right, and he just fucking does it. I love that about him. And that's so clear here. I love that.
So we're going to change our target's heart not to reform society, but to acquire the reality we believe in.
Either that, or they're all literally just processing it all. I'm not quite sure.
That doesn't sound bad at all.
Then it's unanimous.
I'm thinking
that means our
maybe
next
their
step is
pause was,
clear.
oh hey, Ryuji's right about something. Maybe that was it. That kind of pisses me off if that's the reason. I just thought about 3 different possible I'm not exactly sure why no one said anything there. If anyone else has other, like, insights into why no one said anything there, why you think, let me know, because that feels like a weird moment to me. Well, yeah, check out the palace.
Right. Maruki said that he'd be willing to fight if we are too. It's safe to assume he's expecting us to infiltrate his palace.
That reminds
Okay,
me.
yeah, so this
You
is
know
just
that,
a normal timeline of we have to do this in
reality-bending stuff?
25 days. I get it now. I thought this was going to be like a free time thing, but no, this is literally like we have 25 days to do this, and it's, yeah, so that's probably most. I have a feeling that after these 25 days, the DLC's over with, and like it wraps up on the last day. We'll see though, we'll see if I'm right about that.
Why is Doc able to do that anyway?
I've been wondering the same thing. Even if he was the top cognitive science expert, that wouldn't be enough for him to do all of this.
If we're going to fight Maruki, we'd better dig up some more intel on him first.
And see, Ryuji's really on the money today. I mean, hell, Futaba just agreed with him too. I love how good Ryuji is in this scene here.
This is Levenza
Being the smart
speaking.
one for once. That's what Ryuji's doing here. Thank you, Atlas. Thank you. Hi, Levenza? How did you get the phone number of their grill?
Your will of rebellion has reached new heights. We would like to aid that will, if you find it agreeable.
Of fucking course I do. You think I don't want new shiny personas? Are y'all nuts? Please and thank you very much, ma'am.
Wait, how is she even calling you?
That's what I was thinking before, like, that's what I was like, how did she get my phone number? And wait, how is she even accessing phones in this reality? Isn't she, like, locked up in my brain or something? I'm not exactly sure.
And how'd she know how high our wills are? Did she tap your line or something?
No, she was able to just sense the vibe of Ryuji being so high will. That's what it is.
The timing was just too perfect. Maybe she actually did.
I have performed no form of electronic surveillance whatsoever.
I'm just magic.
Apparently, she can hear you.
There's something I wish to tell you regarding your current situation.
Yeah, literally, she's just magic. And that's the joke. I love it.
However, I'm reaching the limit of my communication ability with this method. Let us meet in person tomorrow.
Where?
It would be best for me to select a location considered easy to reach by all parties. Therefore, let us convene at your school.
At Shujin? Wait, she'll be at the school? Levenza will?
In that case, I'll see you tomorrow.
She hung up.
Is she really gonna go to our school? Just walk through the front gates like nothing?
That'll be interesting to see.
I'm not sure what to make of it.
Me neither, Haru, me neither.
But since we've determined our goal and Levenza's offered to help us, I'd call that progress of some sort.
Yee. So with the Durgan.
All we have left is whatever we discuss tomorrow at school, plus whether or not we're going to team up with Akechi.
Considering what he told us, really does seem like we share an end goal with Akechi, but
He did try to, you know, murder the fuck out of us later and was also extremely instrumental in the worst things that happened to us during that entire, like, you know, Phantom Thieves time, so...
Well, I think we ought to team up.
Interesting that Futaba's the one to suggest that. I think it's because of her strategist mind she clearly has, you know. Being the brains, and just being, you know... It makes a lot of sense. And you know what? You know what I bet this is? This is her video game brain that's clearly just, like, super... Like, it would be optimal because he has power and stuff. And he's smart.
Me too.
Interesting. Why Haru?
Are you sure?
Dr. Maruki's strong enough to change reality itself. If we're
Yeah,
gonna
it's
fight
true.
him, we're gonna need Akechi's help.
That's true. It's very clear that Akechi is extremely dependable, you know, even though he is insane as ass, and, well, if he actually plans to not betray us right now, and I really feel like even if he did want to, he probably would be cautious about it now, because he knows what we can do now, so...
Plus, if he does betray
Yeah.
us again, we'll just take him out too.
That's true. And I fucking love Haru. I love this part of Haru, because she's normally just like the cute, bubbly girl. But then, if you get on her bad side, oh boy. I love it. I love her.
I guess that settles that.
let's all meet at Shujin tomorrow. I'll take care of figuring out how to get Yusuke and Futaba in the school.
I appreciate the effort. Thank you.
All right, let's head home for now.
Da-do, dee-dee, da-dee-dee-da-da-do-do-da-dee-dee. Ring ding ding, motherfucker. So, do you think, Levenza will make it to the school? I hope she doesn't get lost or anything. Yeah, don't you think it's a bad idea her wander around in that getup? That's true. Hopefully no one gives her a hard time. If someone does, you better come up with a good excuse for her, Derek. I'll handle it. What do you even say? Your options are kinda limited as a transfer student. Say she's your little sister or something. At any rate, I'm certain she would reach out to us if something were to go awry. That's true. We can put our faith in Lavenza. Agreed. Let us know if anything changes, Dirk. Will do! My darling Makoto, good night!
Yeah.
Why would Lady Lavenza want to meet up at the school? It's not like she just wants to check out the place, right? I think it's because, again, we all go to the school, but I feel like there's another reason. Because of the fact that in our dream, at the beginning of this... I keep wanting to call it a DLC, but it ain't that. It's an expansion that's built into Royal. It's a really kind of odd situation. There aren't many games like this, I think, except for other Atlas games. As far as the way this specific version of 5 is constructed. But yeah, I have a feeling that there's another reason that the school is where she wants to meet up. I think she can manifest there specifically for some reason. Because I have a feeling the butterfly we saw in the school while we were walking around was her. Because, you know, she was definitively the butterfly at the beginning of the game that we saw throughout the game at other points as well. But we'll see. I wonder if it could possibly not be her. Like, maybe there's another being like that that's helping Maruki, and that's what the butterfly was? But I have a feeling it might be Lavenza trying to warn us about that, but maybe she had limited influence to do so because of what Maruki was doing? And I have a feeling that maybe there's something about this reality where she can't really go many places, but for some reason she can go to the school, and I wonder why that is. But the reason she gave was a place everyone can reach. And she knows for some reason that everyone goes to this school, so goes to Shujin, so. Except for Yusuke, but we also know that Yusuke's been able to meet us there. Actually, have we? No, that's right. We weren't able to meet with Yusuke there, were we? I'm trying. Wait, Yusuke did come to, like, the school festival, didn't he? I think he did. Anyway, I'm reading into it a lot, because I just do that a lot, because I love doing that in these games, if you haven't noticed. Anywho, friends, for now, that's where I'll leave it, and we'll continue this intriguing plotline later. I'm really liking this DLC, liking this so far. I've heard some pretty negative things, but we'll see. I don't think I'm gonna share most of the negative, but and with things like this, I don't usually tend to. I usually tend to see the good in this stuff more than the bad, and I just kind of feel like most people should, and that should be the default you have with something like a video game. And if you don't have that, then instead of lamenting about it, put it down and play something you actually want to play. Anyway, friends, have a good one.